Good morning, one and all. In this video lesson, I will discuss about Hopkinson's test. This is indirect test, a testing of DC motors. This video main objective is testing of two shunt machines by conducting Hopkinson's test. The test is also called regenerative test or Hopkinson's test or back-to-back test. Hopkinson's test is another useful method of testing the efficiency of a DC machine. It is a full load test and it requires two identical machines which are coupled to each other. One of these two machines is operated as a generator to supply the mechanical power to the motor, and the other is operated as a motor to drive the generator. For this process of back-to-back driving the motor and the generator, Hopkinson's test is also called back-to-back test or regenerative test. If there are no losses in the machine, then no external power supply would have been needed. But due to the drop in the generator output voltage, we need an extra voltage source to supply the proper input voltage to the motor. Hence, the power drawn from the external supply is therefore used to overcome the internal losses of the motor generator set. Hopkinson's test is also called regenerative test or back-to-back test or heat run test. Two machines are coupled mechanically. The first machine works as a motor, and as I said, the second machine works as a generator. The mechanical output of the motor drives the generator. Then the electrical output of the generator is used as input to the motor. That's why this is called back-to-back test. If there were no losses in the machine, they would have run without any external power supply. There will be some losses in generator and motor. Due to the above losses, generator output is not sufficient to drive the motor and vice versa. The losses are supplied by an extra motor which is belt connected to the motor generator set, or we can take electrically from the supply mains. Then coming to the Hopkinson test circuit connection. Here is a circuit connection for the Hopkinson's test shown in the figure. A motor and a generator. This is motor and this is generator. Both identical, are coupled together. This is coupling. When the machine is started as motor, the shunt field resistance of the machine is adjusted. This is shunt field. So this is shunt field and this is the extra rheostat. The shunt field resistance of the machine is adjusted so that the motor can run at its rated speed. First, we will bring this motor to the rated speed. The generator voltage is now made equal to supply voltage by adjusting the shunt field resistance connected across the the generator. This equality of the two voltages of the generator and the supply is indicated by the voltmeter. This is a voltmeter. As it is gives a zero reading at this point of connection across the switch. The machine can run at rated speed and it's at desired load by varying the field current of the motor and the generator. And this is the circuit diagram for Hopkinson test of DC machines. And this essential connection for the test. The two shunt machines are connected in parallel. They started as unloaded motor. The field of one is weakened. The field of other is strengthened. Then the former is run as motor. This is weakened is run as a motor. And the latter is run as strengthened is run as a generator. The main switch S, this is switch S of the machine is kept open initially. The machine M is started with rated speed. The speed of the machine M is adjusted by varying means of its field regulator R2. This is regulator. Machine M drives machine generator. This motor will drive this generator. Why? Because generator is a mechanical converted into electrical. Mechanical energy is coming from this motor. The altimeter reading of V1, here you can see this is V1, it adjusted to 0 by the field regulator of R1 of the generator. When V1 is shows that the generation is polarity and magnitude to that of main supply. Now the switch is, during this time the switch is closed. Then the machine come into parallel. Previously this motor is started. After that the generator is coming and parallel with this motor. Now by adjusting the field regulators, any load can be thrown on to the machines. Generator current I can be adjusted by increasing the excitation of the generator or by decreasing the excitation of the motor, and this has to supply to the motor and motor is to be supplied to the generator. When it is happened by reducing this, weakening of this flux and strengthening of this flux, the different ammeters readings are observed. Total motor input is equal to electrical output of the generator and small power taken from the supply. The total motor output is equal to mechanical power developed and motor losses. If the supply voltage is V, let V is the supply voltage of the machine, then the motor input is equal to V into I1 plus I2. You can see that V is equal to I1 plus I2. You can see these two currents. I2 is coming from the supply means I1 is coming from the generator. These two currents are flowing in the motor and this is voltage V. If supply voltage is V, then the motor input V and I1 plus I2. I1 is the current from the generator I2 is equal to current from the external source. And the generator output, please go back and see that generator output V into I1. Let both machines are operating at same efficiency, then the output of the motor is equal to, we have a formula for efficiency is equal to output by input. Then output is equal to efficiency is multiplied with this input. Then efficiency input is equal to V into I1 plus I2. Then input to the generator is equal to output of the motor. Input to the generator is equal to output of the motor. Then efficiency into V I1 plus I2. What your output of the motor is nothing but input to the generator. Then output of the generator is equal to efficiency multiplied with this input. Again, which is coming from the efficiency formula. Output by input is equal to efficiency. Then output is equal to efficiency into input. Then we will keep this efficiency here. Input of the generator is equal to, just now we are calculated, input of the generator is nothing but output of the motor. Then output of the motor is equal to efficiency times dispatch, which is nothing but input of the generator. Now this is input of the generator. I've substituted this total mathematical formula theta into V I1 plus I2. Then again one more efficiency value is there. Then 2 times it, that's why efficiency is theta square V I1 plus I2. This is output of the generator. Previous one is the output of the motor. Then output of the motor is only single time theta. Then coming to the output of the generator is 2 times square times theta. Then from equation 1 and 2 equated to equated, then theta square V I1 plus I2 is equal to V into I1. This is generator output. This is also output of the generator. Both equations are same. That's why I'm equating here. Then theta square V I1 plus I2, V into I1 square, or I want theta brought outside, then I1 divided by I1 plus I2, and V gets cancelled. And the square is becomes a root. Now, in case of motor, armature copper losses in the motor is equal to I1 plus I2 minus I4. I4 is the current flowing in the motor shunt field winding. RA is the armature resistances of both motor and generator. Shunt field copper losses in motor will be V into I4. Next, in case of generator, armature copper losses is equal to I1 plus I3 whole square RA, where I3 is the shunt field current of the generator. Then shunt field copper losses in generator is equal to V into I3. Now power drawn from external supply is V into I2. Therefore, stray losses in the both machines will be V into I2 minus I1 plus I2 minus I4 whole square into RA plus V into I4 plus I1 plus I3 whole square into RA plus V into I3. Let us assume that the stray losses will be same for both machines. Then stray losses per machine is equal to W. Just now I given the formula which is divided by 2. However, it is not correct to assume equal efficiencies for both machines. The armature currents are different and the excitations are different. Then coming to the calculation of efficiency for both machines, RA is the armature resistance of each machine. I3 is the excitation current of the generator. I4 is the excitation current of the motor. Then armature copper losses in generator. In generator, I1 plus I3 whole square into RA. If you want, you go for the circuit diagram, you can easily know that what is I1 and what is I3. You can see this is I1 outgoing current and this is I3. Then armature current according to KCL is equal to I1 plus I3 armature current. Here the armature current is this is current coming from here, it is subtracting I4. Then armature current is equal to I1 plus I2 minus I4. Here the current shunt field current is subtracted. Please remember this figure, these formulas, and we will are going to derive this efficiency formulas. Then armature copper losses in motor, you can know, I said now I1 plus I2 minus I4 whole square into RA. These are the armature copper losses in motor and these are the armature copper losses in generator. Then shunt copper losses in generator is VI3. Then shunt copper losses in motor is V into I4. These all are losses. Now we are calculating stray losses. But the total motor and generator losses are equal to the power supplied by the mains. Then power drawn from the mains is V into I2. Then V into I2 is nothing, is meet to armature and shunt to copper losses, both machines and stray losses. The total input taken from the supply is to be meet the armature copper losses, shunt copper losses of the both machines and stray losses of the both machines. But I want to take only total stray losses for the set, that is denoted by capital W, which is equal to power supply taken from the mains subtracted all copper losses I1 plus I2 square into RA, which is nothing but copper losses in the I1 plus I2, I1 plus I3. Sorry, this is I1 plus I3 whole square RA, generator copper losses, and this is motor copper losses, and this is generator shunt copper losses, this is motor shunt copper losses. These two are armature copper losses, these two are shunt copper losses. They are subtracted from the input from the supply. Then remaining losses are equal to stray losses for the both sets. Then making the assumption that stray losses are equally divided between the two machines. It is an assumption, it's not exactly same. Then stray losses per machine is equal to W by 2. Then Hopkinson test for generator, the total losses in the generator is equal to I1 plus I3 whole square into RA, which is nothing but armature copper losses for the motor, and V into I3 the shunt copper losses, and these are the stray losses. Then output is equal to V into I1. I1 is the generator output current. Then efficiency of the motor, output power divided by output power plus losses, total losses. This is nothing but gross total losses. Then coming to the efficiency for the motor, the total losses for the motor, armature copper losses are this one, shunt copper losses are this one. These are the stray losses, which is nothing but losses, total losses for the motor. Then input is equal to V into I1 plus I2. This is input to the motor. Then efficiency of the motor is equal to V, means output we cannot know, we know only input. Then to get the output value, input power minus total losses divided by input power. This is the efficiency formula. Like this we will calculate efficiency for generator as well as for motor. Then coming to the advantages of the Hopkinson test. The merits of this test are, this test requires very small power compared to full load power of motor generator coupled system. That is why it is economical. Large machines can be tested at rated load without much power consumption. The two machines are tested under full load conditions. The total power input is only that requires to supply the losses. This is advantage. It can be used to determine the efficiency as well as temperature rise. The temperature rise and commutation can be observed and maintained in the limit because this test is done under full load condition. Change in iron loss due to flux distortion can be taken into account due to advantages of its full load condition. There is no need to arrange for the loads which is important for large machines. Efficiency at different loads can be determined. Then coming to the disadvantages of the Hopkinson test, the demerits of the test is are it is difficult to find two identical machines for this test. The iron and mechanical losses are assumed equal for the two machines. This is not correct, especially for small machines. The test requires two identical machines and both machines cannot be loaded equal all the time. It is not possible to get separate iron losses for the two machines, though they are different because of their excitation. It is difficult to operate the machine at rated speed because field currents vary widely. These are the disadvantages. Then coming to the summary during this video lesson is, in this class we have discussed about what is Hopkinson test, whether it is direct test or indirect test, and what are the advantages of the Hopkinson test and what are the disadvantages of the Hopkinson's test. This Hopkinson test can be explained by some problems how to find the efficiencies. Please note down this problem. It is a Hopkinson test and two 220 volts 100 kilowatts generators. The circulating current is equal to the full load current, and in addition 90 amperes are taken from the supply. Obtain the efficiency of each machine. Then output current of the generator is 100 kilowatts 220 volts. Then 454.5 amperes is the output of the generator. Then supply, from the supply it is taking 90 amperes. These two currents are going to the motor, assuming equal efficiencies. Then efficiency is equal to under root of I1 plus I1 plus I2. Then efficiency is equal to 454.5 plus 90 and under root is here. Then we will get 91.4%. Then is asking, what is asking? Obtain the efficiency of this machine. We have a formula, efficiency, standard formula. I substituted and we got 91.4%. Then problem 2. The Hopkinson test on two similar shunt machines give the following full load data. Line voltage is 110 volts. Line current is 48 amperes. Motor armature current is 230 amperes. Field currents are 3 amperes and 3.5 amperes. We know that weakening field, strengthening field, we can decide that which one is motor and which one is generator. Then armature resistance of each machine is given 0.035 ohms. Why? Because it's an identical DC machine. Then calculate the efficiency of each machine, assuming brush contact drop of 1 volt per brush. Now you can see this is the schematic diagram of the Hopkinson test. Supply voltage is 110 volts, and from the supply it is taking 48 amperes. And again some current is given, that is 230 amperes is the motor armature current. Please remember 230 amperes is the motor armature current is given. This is a 48 amperes. Then this is 230 means, and again given 3 amperes and 3.5 amperes. Weakening field current, which is nothing but motor. Strengthening weak current, strengthening the flux current is nothing but generator. Then 3 amperes will be assigned to the motor. 3.5 amperes is assigned to the shunt, generator. Then 3 amperes is here, and 230 amperes is given motor armature current. Then addition of these two is nothing but 233.4 amperes is the input current to the motor. Then 48 amperes are coming from this, and remaining current which is supplied by the generator. Then 233 minus 48 is nothing but 185 amperes. 185 amperes not given. This is 185 amperes. Then this is also 185 amperes. 3.5 amperes is given field current. In generator, addition of these two currents are nothing but armature current. Then 185 plus 3.5 is equal 188.5 amperes is the armature of the generator. Like this, we have to calculate the currents. It should also be noted that the machine with lesser excitation is motoring. We will find the total armature copper losses, brush contact losses of the both machines. Then as the motor, armature copper losses we are calculating. Armature current is 230 square into 0.035, and this is the armature copper losses. Then brush contact loss is equal to 230, 1 volt per brush, then 2 brushes are taken and 460 watts. And total armature copper losses for the motor, this added that these two is nothing but 2312 is the total armature losses. And shunt copper losses, 110 volts is the supply voltage, 3 amperes is the motor shunt field current, 330 watts is the shunt copper losses. Then addition of all these losses, 2312 plus 330 watts shunt copper losses, total losses are 2642 watts. Then coming to the generator, generator armature losses, we are already calculated 188.5. Armature copper losses 1244, and brush contact copper losses, this is the current 1 volt per brush, VI 377 watts. Then total armature copper losses is equal to 1621 watts. Shunt copper losses 3.5 amperes is the shunt field for the generator, and 385 watts. Then total copper losses is equal to 2006 watts for the generator. For the set, total armature and shunt copper losses, this is 2642 and this is 2006, 4648. Then total input is 110, 48 amperes is the supply current taken from the supply. Then total input current losses are 5280. This is only to meet these losses. Then stray losses for the set is equal to, we will subtract all copper losses from the input, getting 5280 minus 4648. Then 632 watts is the stray losses for the set. Then to get for machine, we will divide it by 2, we will get 316 watt for the machine. Then now we will find the motor efficiency. Armature copper losses plus brush drop copper losses 2312, and shunt copper losses 330 watts, and stray losses are just now we got 316. Addition of all these losses is the total losses. Then motor input 233 amperes is the motor input current, 110 is the supply voltage, then this is 25630 is the motor input. Then output will get input minus total losses for the motor, then this is the output. Then efficiency is equal to output power divided by input power multiplied with this 100 to get percentage efficiency. Then 88.8 is the efficiency of the motor. Then coming to the generator efficiency, total losses is equal to 2006 copper losses plus 316 is the stray losses. Then total losses is equal to 2322. Then output is equal to 110 watts is the voltage and 185 is the output current. This is 185 is the output current, 3.5 amperes, 185. Is it correct? Please check. Yes, 185 is the output current. 3.5. Yes, 180, 188, 185. Yes, 185. Then total output power is this one. Then generator input, we will get output plus total losses. Output power plus total losses. This is generator input. Then coming to the efficiency, output power is 20,350. Then input power is 22,672. Then which is nothing but 89.4%. Like this, by using Hopkinson test, we will calculate the efficiency for motor and as well as for generator. Then I will take another problem. The Hopkinson test on two identical shunt machines gave the following results. Input voltage is 500 volts. Input current is 15 amperes. Output current of the generator is 120 amperes. Field current of the generator is 4 amperes is given clearly. Field current of motor is 3 amperes. Then armature resistance of each machine is given 0.06 ohms. Find the efficiency of the motor and the generator. Please try to solve this numerical problem. If it is not possible, I will explain in coming video lecture. Please solve this numerical problem, which is similar just now I explained. And this is the solution for the just now I said for this given data. Then we will first find the total input. 500 volts into 15 amperes is the input current. You can see this is the input current, 15 amperes, and this is the output current of the generator. These two currents will be the input to the motor. First we will find this input power, how much, and this input power going to meet these losses for the both machines. The total input power is equal to 500 is the supply voltage and 15 amperes is taken from the mains. Then 7500 watts is the total input power. Then we will calculate for generator losses and the motor losses. Then armature current of the current is equal to you can see 120 amperes is the output current of the generator and 4 amperes is the field current of the generator. Addition of these two will has to supply by the armature current of the generator. Then 120 plus 4 is equal to 124 amperes is the generator armature current. Then armature copper loss of the generator Ia square Ra 124 square into 0.06. 922.56 watts is the armature copper losses. Then armature current of the motor. We can see that 120 is coming from the generator and 15 amperes is coming from the mains and 3 amperes is going to the field. Then 132 amperes is the armature current. Then armature copper losses is equal to 132 square into 0.06, 1045.44 watts. Then field copper losses, field current of the generator is 4 and voltage is 500. VA is the power, 2000 watts. Then field copper loss of the motor, 500 voltage is the supply voltage, 3 amperes is the motor field current, 1500 watts is the field losses of the motor. Then total iron and mechanical losses is equal to, which is nothing but stray losses. Stray losses are nothing but iron and mechanical losses. This will come from input total power and subtracted all the copper losses. 7500 watts is the input power taken from the mains, and these are the all the losses. Just now we are calculated. 922.2.56 is the generator copper loss, and 1045.44 is the motor copper loss, armature copper loss. 2000 watts is the field copper loss of the generator, and 1500 is the field copper loss of the motor. Then stray losses is equal to 2032, and this is for the set. For each machine we will divide it by 2, then 1016 watts per machine. Then the generator output is equal to generator output current is 120, output voltage is 500, then 60 watts is the output power. Output power, then we want input power. Then generator input is equal to output plus total losses. Then output is 1016 2056. Then generator losses are equal to 1016 is the stray losses, 922.56 watts is the armature copper losses, and 2000 watts is shunt field copper loss. This is shunt field copper loss of 2000 watts. Addition of all these losses is generator total losses. It is equal to 3938.56 watts. Then the generator efficiency is equal to output power divided by output power plus total losses. Then output power is 60,000 watts divided by output power plus total losses, which is given as, which is multiplied by the 100. Then 93.8 is the generator efficiency. Then coming to the motor calculation of motor efficiency, we will get motor input is 500 is the supply voltage, 120 is the output of the generator, and 15 amperes is the supplied by the mains. Then these two currents are input to the motor. Then 120 plus 15 is the input to the motor, and 500 volts is the voltage. Then 67,500 watts is the input to the motor. Then coming to the motor losses, again this is 1016 plus 1045 is the armature copper losses of the motor. 1500 watts is the motor field current losses. Is 3561.44 is the total losses for the motor. Then motor efficiency is equal to output power divided by input power. Output power we cannot get directly. Then output power is equal to input minus total losses. Then input is 67,500 minus total losses are 3561 divided by 67,500 is the input power. Then 94.7% is the efficiency of the generator. Sorry, motor. 94.7% is the efficiency of the motor. Like this, we have to calculate the numerical problems for the Hopkinson test. And then I will take another sample example. In Hopkinson test, on a pair of 500 volts, 100 kilowatts shunt generator, the following data was obtained. Auxiliary supplies 30 amperes at 500 volts, means this is taken from the supply. And generator output current is 200 amperes. Field current is 3.5 amperes, means this is generator. And 1.8 amperes is the motor field current. Then armature circuit resistance is 0.075 ohms of each machine. Then voltage drop at brushes is 2 volts. And calculate efficiency of the machine acting as a generator. Then this is a circuit diagram and Hopkinson test, and this is 500 volts and 1.8 amperes is the less field current, and it is the field current of the motor, and 3.5 amperes is the high field current, which is dedicated to the, which is given allotted to the generator's field current. Then this generator is sending 200 amperes of current, and this is taken from the supply is 30 amperes of current. And 230 amperes, 200 plus 30 is given to the input to the motor. Then solution, the motor armature current is 230 amperes. Motor armature losses are 230 square into 0.075 plus. Brushes losses are given V into I, power loss. Then these are the motor armature losses. Then motor field current is V into I, 900 watts. Then generator armature losses 200 square into 0.05 into 200 into 2. Why it is 200? it is to be 3 and 230. 200 is the armature current, and 2 volts V into I is the power losses of the for the brushes. Like this, the total losses for the generator armature copper losses are 3400 watts, and the generator field losses are 500 is a voltage and 3.5 is a field current. Then 1750 watts is the generator field losses. Then all losses for the both machines is cumulatively 10,478 watts. Then power taken from the auxiliary is 500 into 30 amperes. 500 is supply voltage, 30 amperes is the current, 15,000 watts. Subtracting these losses, we will get the stray losses. The stray losses are 4522 for both machines. Then stray losses per machines is equal to 4,522 divided by 2, then 2,261 watts per machine. Then total losses in the generator is equal to 3,400 plus 1750, 1750 plus 3,400 plus now we get 2,261 per machine of stray losses. Total losses of the generator is 7411 watts. Then generator output is 500 is the voltage and 200 is the generator output current. Then this is the generator output power. Then efficiency formula output by output plus losses. If it is multiplied with the 100, we will get percentage efficiency. Then output power is equal to 100 kilowatts divided by 100 kilowatts added with the 7411 multiplied with 100 will give 93.09 percentage of efficiency for the generator. Then coming to the is asking only to find the generator efficiency. Till now I explained about what is Hopkinson test, how to conduct Hopkinson test, and what is the formulas for finding the efficiency for motor as well as generator. What are the advantages and disadvantages of the Hopkinson test, and I explained how to calculate the efficiencies of the motor and generator by choosing some of the numerical problems, and I explained step by step for calculating efficiencies. Thank you for watching my videos. Thank you very much.